Welcome, Tarot fam, to Mixtape Monday. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. In this video, I am awaiting the snowstorm. I just went upstairs and I checked, and it doesn't look like that snow is anywhere near us. It's a little bit of a snowy sky, but does not feel cold enough to snow. So fingers crossed, pajamas inside out, really hoping we're going to get a little snow. So Mixtape Monday, if it's your first time here, this is your opportunity to drive the content. Put your comments down below. I will pick them up, hopefully, for next week if you're one of the lucky few that can get some of their questions in. But for this week, I'm trying to not have all political stuff. It is a political week here in the United States. We have the incoming president, Donald Trump, returning to the White House. Joe Biden has apparently left the building, and everybody has an opinion about it. So we're probably going to be talking a lot of politics. So hope you guys are okay with that. But I don't always talk just politics. I like the goss. I love the goss. So we're going to start out with Ray Kennedy, which is so cute because you said you probably already filmed an hour ago. You put that comment in. I didn't. I'm still filming. Michelle Obama is skipping the inauguration. Is there trouble in their marriage? I am going to say yes. I think that there is a divergence of goals. Let's put it that way. It's kind of like unconsciously coupling or unconsciously or consciously uncoupling or whatever it was that Gwyneth Paltrow said about her divorce. And I do think that the Jennifer Aniston situation, I think that there is an attraction there, but I don't think that it is a consummated relationship. I just don't think so. So, so I'm going to refer you, Ray Kennedy, to my Sunday wrap up, which just launched, and also the live that I did the other day. We talked about it. So you can get some answers on that. Sorry for the jump cut there, guys, but apparently my cough is not done with me yet. So I may have to stop a few times. I do have my trusty, delicious cup of tea. Oh, that's lovely. Yorkshire Gold today. Need a little oomph, a little extra. So I have a good question from Karen Coltis. What did Harry know about January 6th and how? So those of you that are unaware of this, Harry claimed that he reached out to the former owner of Twitter and told him that there was going to be an insurrection because Harry knows some things about what's going on. So let's see, what did Harry know about it? I'm going to bring up the card view and we're going to get to reading on this, guys. Nice and big view there for you. What did Harry know about January 6th? 10 of Cups. He knew some people were going to be upset, and he was actually the one tasked with making that announcement. He was put in play to talk about it. Huh? By whom? The Magician. The Ace of Wands. They actually told him that that would put him back into a political sphere. Not spear. Sphere. Spear is different. So they were trying to reignite a political veneer on him. That sounds weird. Don't ignite veneers. They were trying to craft a new political veneer for him as one that is in the know, who can tell when the people are dissatisfied and rumbling. But this was a tower crashing moment. 7 of Swords. He was seen as a creep. And 6 of Wands, it was not a successful endeavor. But I do think that this magician put him in play to do this, because the Knight of Swords does not necessarily come up with the idea. The page comes up with the idea. The Knight of Swords goes and delivers it. So that's very interesting that he was delivering the information. So that was the what and how, all at once. Who gave him this directive? And did he know that he was being used? Who gave him the directive? The Nine of Cups, people that said they would protect him. Eight of Wands, communication. Knight of Pentacles. There was also some kind of promise. This isn't money. This was a promise of protection, that he would be afforded protection for his family. I think we're going to find something very interesting if we dig a little bit deeper here. If the new incoming administration does a little digging, I think they're going to find out that security that really wasn't necessary, in my opinion. Security was afforded to them. It was a cheap currency for the powers that be in the U.S. government. It was not a big deal for them to send a couple guys over there. Did Harry know he was being duped? The World. King of Cups. You know, it was his opportunity in his mind to demonstrate to the evil, mean royal family that strangers cared about him more than they did. That strangers were going to give him his security and protection for his family faster and more readily than his own flesh and blood would. This was, he really wanted to stick it to him and tell him, well, you know, the U.S. government has determined that I deserve security. We're going to find out. We're going to find out that his security was furnished by the United States government, probably at the behest of Joe Biden. You know, he has a nitwit son. Why wouldn't he want to take care of someone else's nitwit son that is on the loose? So that's what I think it is. I think someone whispered in Harry's ear and said, get this information out, you're a public figure. Don't say where you got it from, and we'll give you security in exchange for that. So I think that was the deal that was cut. So we have a great question from Dave Murphy. Dave Murphy, how are ya? That's worst Australian accent ever. And a sloppy shuffle for you, my friends. So Dave Murphy says, do you see another pandemic coming? And if so, what countries could be affected? Although China has a media blackout, there are rumors their hospitals are beyond capacity. Wild question here. So we're going to rely on all my spidey senses here. I got you, kid. And you know, it's wild because I literally had a coughing fit at the end of my Sunday wrap up, my Sunday reflection. And I've been stopping and starting this video because I'm coughing again. And I've already been on antibiotics. I don't want to be on antibiotics anymore. Or any over-the-counter medications. I got nothing left. Just let me live. Let me live. So do we have another situation at hand? Two of Pentacles. Communications are broken down. King of Pentacles. Eight of Swords. Unleash the dragon. Page of Wands. Two of Swords. So I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but the tattoo that I have on my wrist is the 12 monkeys tattoo. It does look like a barrel of monkeys tattoo, but that's what it was in the movie. It had a little 12 in it, and it was about a pandemic. If you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. It's one of the best time travel movies I've ever seen. We have Brad Pitt, Bruce Willis. It is really, really a terrific, terrific film. So I have to talk about the Georgia Guidestones. And the Georgia Guidestones were, the destruction of them was very disturbing to me. I was very unsure of why those Georgia Guidestones were destroyed. Was it to keep the agenda secret? Was it to fight the power? Why did that happen? So those of you that don't know what the Georgia Guidestones are, there's a monument in Georgia that was commissioned by an unknown person. Their identity is not public. There's a lot of speculation as to who did it, and it was written in a number of different languages. But the long and short of it is, it said, you know, we need to keep the population at 500 million. 500 million worldwide. That's a lot of people that got to go if that is the number of sustainability. So Elon Musk disagrees. He thinks that we need to populate more. This is a flattening out of the people that we have. This is flattening it out. We got to flatten it out. Number's too big. Two of Pentacles, decisions, hard decisions. Sophie's choice is being made, and the king is not actually making these decisions. So is this a wild virus that we let go and it stampedes all over things? It's unleashed. It takes hold. It runs recklessly. The Page of Wands runs recklessly. And again, it is doesn't discriminate for whom it gets or for whom the bell tolls. And under the surface, very unhappy about this. So I do think there's something brewing. I do think that there's what is going on in China? What is going on in China? Is there a secret in China? Six of Cups. Seven of Wands. Page of Wands. Queen of Pentacles. The World. Four of Swords. You know, China is very cut off energetically. All I see is military. All I see is military, guys. In China, I just see the focus is on the military, on the march, on the march, on the march. Now, I don't know if this is towards Taiwan. I don't know if that's a great idea with Trump coming back into office, but the military is on the march. It's on the march. Is it to hold people in place? Possibly. You know, the future is the Four of Swords and the Five of Swords, which is pinned down. The Four of Swords is pinned down and resting and quiet, keeping things quiet. And then that Five of Swords is calamity, and things happening, swords clashing, those kinds of things. The Eight of Wands is our hopes and fears. Hope, communication, fear, communication, that information is going to get out. Up top is the closing of this chapter, the world changing over. So I did feel a timeline shift when Trump won. And there was like a couple of other timeline shifts that I've felt. I'm curious if this is yet again another timeline shift. I'm not quite feeling it, but this does feel very doomy. This has a very doom and gloom kind of vibe. The Tower is calamity happening to us. And the Four of Cups is the imagination and extending of help of the government in China. So more to come on that. Dave Murphy always asks the best questions. So I thank you, Dave Murphy, for that question. A little spooky, a little spooky. So this is a fun question, a little bit more fun than the last topic. Oprah and Tyler Perry have gone quiet for a while. My spidey senses are tingling. What's up with them? Thanks, Beck. Great question. Let's see. What is going on with Oprah? So I know Oprah is not everybody's favorite, but you know, she is masterful at crafting careers and crafting her own career. And I think that she is actually doing a rebrand. This may be why we saw Oprah come so far away from the Harkles, because she herself is having to rebrand and make herself a bit more of the historic, palatable Oprah. You know, we had the one thing where she did the Ozempic and didn't tell the truth about it, and she lost her Weight Watchers endorsement or partnership. With doing the whole not being a great journalist on the Harry and Meghan, just, letting them tell their narrative without any extra questions, I think was very damaging. So I do think that what we are going to get is a different branded Oprah. I think a quieter Oprah where she is doing things more behind the scenes, more drafting the experience of others, drafting career paths and those kinds of things. Is she ready to retire? I don't think so. But I think we're getting a retirement period right now with her. She knows the value of going into the back room for a little bit and hiding out. So I think she is doing that right now, but she's going to reemerge in the spring. She's going to reemerge. Tyler Perry. I feel a great deal of sorrow around Tyler Perry, and it's not sorrow like you lost a loved one or a pet or home or something like that. It's almost like a disappointment, a level of disappointment, tower, things that he has done to himself out of the goodness of his own heart. Now, like him or love him, I don't get terrible readings on Tyler Perry. I just don't. I get more of, he's trying to do the right thing, but there's, some slimy people in Hollywood. I don't think that he is the worst person in the world. I don't think that he is nefarious or, part of that whole, evil set in Hollywood. I just don't think that he is. And I'm sorry if you disagree with me, but I think he does try to do the right thing. And I think that was what he was doing with Harry and Meghan. And I think he got burned by that when he loaned them his house. I think they insulted him. I think they said that his house wasn't glamorous enough. And I think it was quite delightful. I think it was more big than castle level refinement. And I think that that's what Harry and Meghan really were kind of walking and expecting. Harry, I think, is a snob when it comes to living quarters, and I think he was more insulting than Meghan was. I think Meghan said things very quietly, but I think Harry said them out loud. Like, this is like really cheap. Can we replace this? And yet they put up like, a black plastic fence all around the property because they're so classy. So classy. But I think that Tyler Perry is trying to regain some equilibrium of emotion here. We've got, a number of cups here. And I think he is trying to find his center, if he is religious or, working with pastors or things like that. I think he's had a lot of conversations with pastors, spiritual leaders in his life, trying to just sort out the right path and trying to make sense out of a situation where someone maybe does not do the right thing, even though they are poised to do the right thing. So I think that he is trying to figure out the best way to go. And there is something of the mendicants about him. I think he is trying to pull away from the glamour and trying to get to the substance. At the end of the day, he makes movies that are funny. The Medea movies were very funny. And he wants to make a fun project like that. He wants to put more joy into the world. But he wants to do it legitimately. And he sees other people that are giving lip service to that. And he really doesn't want to be a part of that, so to speak. So, he's finding that the world is an unjust place with this justice in reverse. And he is really trying to be the best man that he can be in a world where there are people that are duplicitous. So that's what I'm going to say about that. I know people do have a certain opinion about Tyler Perry. I don't think that he is as bad as everyone would like him to be. So we'll see. We'll see what comes up. So great question from Marnie Hall. Hi, Marnie. Will the Sony studio head step in to make the Baldoni Lively lawsuits go away? Awesome question. Love this one. Because that whole scene just looks like it's going to be a cluster. You know what? The Sun in reverse, crossed by the Nine of Swords, Strength in reverse, Four of Cups in reverse, Page of Swords, Eight of Cups. You know what, guys? I think they're going to try. I don't know if it's going to work. I have a feeling that too much water has gone under the bridge so far. And I don't think that Blake Lively wants to back down off this. I think this is her moment to flex her power, to be a stand-up gal for all the women that have ever been wronged in these kinds of circumstances. And I think Justin Baldoni is determined to preserve or restore his reputation. So it's a tough answer. I think they're going to try. I think they're really, really going to try, the Sony heads. But I don't think that it's going to work. I think they're going to say, why don't we just kind of craft that, a statement that it was a misunderstanding and that everybody's okay and that, the show must go on. And I think they're going to say, hell no, we're not doing this. What will Blake's response be to this? 10 of Cups. It's actually good. Justin Baldoni, Queen of Cups in reverse. What about my reputation? So I think, even though I just said that Blake, I think, really wants to continue with this, I think the damage has been done to Justin Baldoni. She could walk away if the studio, scratches her behind the ears the right way. I don't think Justin Baldoni will back down. If he doesn't back down, she won't back down. So that's what I'm getting. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. This is a big drama in Hollywood. This is unfortunately like a really big one. So let's see. Next question. So this is so nice. This is from JJBH. Love your makeup. It looks so soft and not over the top to look harsh. Do you do it yourself? And color of your hair, the color suits you. Any tips I can share? Thanks. Well, thank you. That's super nice. I do work a lot on my presentation. My hair, I desperately need a haircut. So I'm in a bun today and I'm going to be doing a lot of housework once I'm done with this. So I'm a little bit more action gal and I do need to get my roots done. My hair is done by a shop called Chop Chop Bang Bang in Asbury Park. It is owned by my really good friend, Steven Statlin. He started doing my hair when I was, I think, 20 years old. He has done everything to my hair from like super short, black, sleek bob to really, really long, dark hair. My natural hair color when I was a kid was very like sunny and kind of light brown. I now looking at pictures, like some people may even call it like a dirty blonde. My one sister is blonde. But my hair was very light. And as I got older, it got darker and my eyebrows were always dark. So I was like, I'm just going to keep it, like a dark, like espresso brown. But Steven actually talked me into highlights. I think when I turned 50, he was like, let's do color, let's do highlights, let's do some fun stuff. And I really do like what he's been doing. I'm a little warmer right now for the holidays, for Thanksgiving. We did some warm highlights, but I think I may go a little bit more into the like buttery blonde, but we'll see. My hair takes a long time to lift. And the haircut that he just recently gave me is based on the Megan Fox, the little bob that she got, that little, it was like a little fluffy, shaggy bob that she got, I guess, in the fall. And when it grew out, I started to like how the back looked. So I was like, let's let the back go a little bit. But I think I'm going to wind up with my hair just like at shoulder level. It's just a lot easier to take care of. I don't wash my hair every day. So that's why you guys see me with my hair pulled up sometimes. If you wash a piece of clothing every single day, it's going to fall apart. So I believe if you wash your hair every day, you do kind of bang it up. So I try not to do that. And I do have a Mason Pearson brush, so I brush through it. But so that's I try and take good care of my hair. But my makeup, thank you so much. I actually think it has something to do with the red light therapy that I've been doing. I belong to a Planet Fitness and they have red light therapy for your whole body. And I do think it's making a huge difference in my skin. My skincare is pretty simple. I just I take all my makeup off every night. Like I don't mess around with that. Coconut oil is my go-to to take my makeup off. It does condition your lashes. And I do double cleanse. So I'll do the coconut oil, take all my makeup off with like a tissue or a soft cloth. And then I wash with a gel cleanser and just kind of, fluff it up. I have a little thing that I can put my cleansers in and I can make it puffy. I can make it like emulsified and then put the foam on my face, which is fun. So when I do that, that's just like a normal, I do that twice a day, in the morning and at night. In the morning, you really just have to kind of refresh your face. You don't really have to like scrub it. But I use like an anti-aging, not retinol, eye cream. I just use like a standard eye cream. I use a very simple, pure ingredient, non-comedogenic day and night cream. The night cream is just a little bit more rich. And I add to that, this is like really important, I add to that 6 drops of vitamin E oil, and I add 6 drops of black cold pressed virgin Jamaican castor oil. Castor oil historically was one of the things that plastic surgeons would use around the eyes or around any kind of incisions when they would do any kind of plastic surgery, facelift, eye surgery, years ago, and that was like a tried and true method. So I use that, and I also use the Ashley Black. It's the fascia blaster, but it's for your face, so it's a smaller one. It's got little small claws, and that brings up a lot of blood to your skin. It smooths out your fascia, and then I schwaga. I don't know what it's called. It's a little sh sh I can't say it. It's a jade flat piece, and then you flush the skin with it all the way out. And I do that once a day, every single day. I carve out my cheekbones. It does give you some light. As far as cosmetics, my girlfriend Kathy, the world's loudest librarian, I buy all of her stuff. It's all from a company called Unique. I use it's a foundation that is not from there though. So it's really a like a skin filter, and it's from the ELF company, ELF, eyes, lips, and face. It's an inexpensive foundation, but it's the Halo Glow foundation. I don't know what color I use. I use that as my foundation. It's really, really sheer. Oh, I use the red light therapy at Planet Fitness, but I have a 5 minute skin. It's an IPL intense light hair removal, and they have these little caps that you can put on for acne or for discoloration. And I use the red one for any sun damage that I have. I do have actually a lot of sun damage, and it's removing it, but it's changed the way my skin looks, and it changed the way my skin looks in that ELF foundation. The ELF foundation is not super intense. When I go out in public with that on, it doesn't look that bad. The rest of my makeup, like when you guys see me on here, it is a little bit heavier for like, going to the grocery store. So I'll just do the same thing a little bit heavier when I'm filming. So the my blush right now, I use I use a combination. I use an ELF liquid blush, and I use that before I do my foundation, and then I use I'm gonna do a get ready with me for you guys. I use a damp sponge to kind of blend that in, and then I have a NARS. My son got me this. It's a NARS blush in romance. It's like a candlelight kind of blush. So the one that I use, the ELF blush, the liquid blush that I used before my foundation, that's like a deep cranberry. And then the NARS romantic or romance is more of like a candlelight, kind of a peachy. And then I just use like, a simple eyeliner. I use black, gray, and brown, depending on what I'm wearing. I'll just do a quick line on the lid. In my waterline, I use a white liner, and then I do a cat eye with the white liner. And then I followed that to make a little tiny cat eye. You can see a little tiny cat eye. And then underneath, I use an eyeshadow, like a taupey eyeshadow, to just kind of smudge out that line. And there is negative space on the corners of my eyes. It does make your eyes look bigger. So I'll do a get ready with me video for you guys. Like, I know it's hokey, but I'll do one you can see everything that I do. I was on, I think, with Foxy and Grumpy Sapper, and I jumped into it live, and I was doing my makeup, and I just was doing my makeup at the same time. So some people commented on that, but no lip gloss. I use good old fashioned Vaseline. Oh, that's something I forgot. So I do something called slugging, and I didn't know it was called slugging until recently. After I do all of my moisturizers and everything, I'll take a little bit of Vaseline and put that on. That's an old beauty trick too. Marilyn Monroe did it. You just the tiniest bit. You don't want to put a ton on, but it will hold your products onto your face if you've got restorative products. But just do a thin layer, and then take water and keep adding water and massaging your face and putting it in. So it kind of spreads it all out, and then you can pat dry. Your makeup stays on better. You do get this nice little glow that comes through, even though you're putting makeup on top of it. So, and I do see a huge difference. I use it on my hands in the winter. I always have hand lotion on my desk because my hands are very dry. They've always been very dry. So, so yeah, so there it is. So I'll do a get ready with me, but that's kind of the preview for the get ready with me. So, but nice question. Thank you. Thank you for the compliment. So let me see what the next question is. So we've got two more questions that I'm going to cover in this one. So what is the primary motive for the current LA fire situation? So let's do that. We're going to bring this over. Three of Wands to bust up the team so they can come back together and rewrite the way things are going to be. Three of Cups. So is this an opportunity to, craft those smart cities, do the high density housing? Yeah, I do think it is. I think if it wasn't intentionally done, it will be a situation that they take advantage of to make something like that happen. Um, I am not opposed to the 15-minute cities because I do see that they're going to be done in a different way. They're not going to be done in this way, like you can't move around the country, you can't go to places that you want to go. I see that they're going to be connected by high-speed trains, and the cities are going to have specializations. Now, it sounds a lot like the Hunger Games, where like you have District 1, District 2, and District 1 was just really good. The capital was like having a great time with their fashion, and then District 12 was starving their butts off. But I don't think it's going to be like that. I think they will have arts and leisure sections, and there'll be cities that will be sustainable with hydroponics and agricultural resources right there. So do we build a city that has outdoor facilities for cattle, chickens, that kind of stuff? Yeah, I do think that that's kind of what's going to happen. And we do get to manage lives and the sustaining of lives in a micro kind of fashion. Am I someone who would like to live in a high density city? No, I wouldn't. I'm very loud, and it's it's my son and I are extremely loud people. My husband and my daughter, not so much, but well, I'm just not good in an apartment. I'm not good in a condo. I had a condo before this place, and I always felt bad. I did have a neighbor on one side, and I always felt bad because his kids were grown and my kids were little, and they were, kind of noisy, and I would have parties, but I would invite him. His name was Brad. He was very nice. I just, it's not that I'm discourteous. It's just that I am just very loud. Like I'm sorry. I'm just really loud. So I don't want to live in a 15-minute city. I would rather live in the country and do what I have to do, and be as loud as I want. So we'll see. We'll see about that. But I do think that they're going to take advantage of the conflagration, the destruction left behind. I think they're going to take advantage of it to kind of restructure LA, which is awful because LA has such amazing architecture and monuments from like the 30s, 40s, 50s. Like I really liked the things from the 30s and 40s and 50s out there. I was very fond of it. Yeah, you can still, you could still buy properties. My first apartment was built in the late 20s there, I think. And it was amazing. It was on casters, so when we would have earthquakes, it would kind of roll like that. It was wild. It was on Normandy Ave, and very, very neat. So Florida Girl asked, was the inauguration really moved inside because of weather? Wheel of Fortune. I think that, yes, the weather was something that had been discussed. Oddly enough, Ronald Reagan, his was moved inside because of the weather, but he had also had the fascination attempt as well. So I think that it is a more controllable environment. And I think some smarter heads decided that it needed to be in there. The most impactful card in that spread is this one. We want to avoid having a tragedy. Avoid having a tragedy. So last one I'm going to cover, Wendy Williams, and I think this is going to be covered in a bigger video too. Wendy Williams called into the Breakfast Club. She sounded pretty good. Are they giving her certain substances before she's seen by the public or doctors? She may be struggling with something, but it doesn't seem like she needs to be locked away from her family. Let's do kind of a big view of Wendy Williams, because I had actually predicted that she wasn't going to make it through the end of the year. Judgment. Ace of Swords. High Priestess in reverse. 10 of Swords. The World. I'm getting the World again, guys. Like, that's an ending. 10 of Swords is an ending. World is an ending. Judgment, not a good card to get in this. And the High Priestess, was that a good idea? I don't think it was a good idea. The Ace of Swords can sometimes be a new beginning of freeing someone from something. And then the Queen of Cups here. I think the backlash of the people that are in charge of her right now was pretty big from that call in. I don't think they knew she was going to call in. I think she did that on her own. And I think she's in a little bit of trouble. So is Wendy Williams in trouble for calling in? 6 of Swords, 3 of Pentacles, Page of Swords. She was reaching out. She was reaching out for a lifeline. This was, Free Britney moment. Gosh, I really hope that she's got some good people looking out for her. So I don't know. What a mess, A lot of these celebrities, you get to a point where you are flush with money and notoriety, and the people that around you expect that to be theirs as well. And there's some interesting stuff going on with Liam Payne and his friend. The presumption, I guess, was that, Liam Payne's friend was going to keep an eye on him and make sure that he didn't get himself into trouble. And now there's some bad stuff that Liam Payne's dad is saying about the friend, because he was supposed to be his caretaker. Nobody wants to be your friend's caretaker. Like, get your act together and, act right. Act right. It's just, you can't be responsible for everybody. Look at Chris Farley, look at John Belushi. You can't, those people had people looking out for them, and, they still were on an express train to, the great beyond. So, as far as Wendy Williams, I don't know if there's the right people that are looking after her. So I hope that there are. I hope it's not just hangers on, whether they're blood family or not. I do hope that they're paying attention to the care that she's getting. But with that, we are going to wrap up this particular Mixtape Monday. So remember, we do this every weekend. I post up community posts, then you guys can add your questions. So you can add it in this one. I can't guarantee, I've gotten such a big community at this point. I can't guarantee that I'm going to get to all the questions, because 40 minutes is a long time for this video. So I want to make sure you guys can watch them. So let's wrap this up. Thank you so much for being here. Give me some more questions. Love to talk about this stuff, and let me know what you think about this stuff. And I will see you in the future.